Jose Cicada,
Dominic Vang.
Mike GM, this is Vic Cool GM, Brujo GM. How's everybody doing today? Saga GM everybody. Jimmy GM, Zena GM. You scared me, bro. Forgot I was in the stage. my bad. Carlos GM, Bob GM, Ronald GM, Katir GM, Emperor GM. GM everybody. How's everybody doing today? Doing anything fun this week? I don't like that image. It's bannable. Should be bannable. Should be. It should be bannable. Not sure, but it should be.
GM?
Lots of last minute council work. Santi, GM. Jim, welcome on the stage. Welcome, GM.
Ooh,
Hey, everybody.
Let's go. Our guest already here. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Which one is Dom?
Oh
Dude,
my god.
I mean,
you're
you should be
getting cooked.
banned. You should be banned.
Yeah.
Everyone should be banned. Nice little doggy. Puppers.
It's a nice picture of the grandma, man. Yeah.
It's my grandma, man.
Yeah. It's
Just
not
working on mining
edited at all.
stuff. Pretty cool, I guess. Damn. Brad, don't steal the show, bud. Don't steal the show. We're on stage.
Yeah. Look at Brad, bro. Trying to
Look at Brad, bro.
I mean, Brad, mining's cool, but today we are talking about the most important thing in his Star Atlas history:
The tariffs.
virtual girlfriends.
Oh my
Virtual.
God.
Lord have mercy.
Right from the start. We're not even 5 minutes in.
Yeah, we set the stage for the big thing we are announcing today.
Green, GM, Salas, welcome. Everybody, welcome in. Thanks for joining us today. Atlas Brew number 154. My
Falcon.
God.
Legend.
Cool. What do you fellas think? Should we get started?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Do it.
I'm wearing
Let's
green
do it.
today. You know
Wearing
why?
green? Why, bro?
Because the markets are up,
Markets are
bro.
green, bro.
Because we're so back.
We are so back, bro.
We're back.
Oh
We're
my
totally back.
god. Oh my god. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that came in from the Atlas account. But
Yeah.
yeah. Pretty crazy. How's everyone dealing with all this volatility, I guess, in the market? It's been wild the last couple days.
It's been crazy.
And that's an understatement, I think.
Like my friend Arthur said, if I don't look at the charts, they can't affect me, bro.
Yeah.
Fags. True.
Funkaker says,
I'm playing the
volatility?
game.
What are you talking about? I'm just
Perfect.
playing the game. Yeah.
True.
There's no volatility in hydro markets. At least they have been pretty stable in Atlas price. I don't know. I don't know how things are in Uster, Jose, but on Oni,
Bro,
things are going well. The Oni economy is thriving.
bro, I'm sitting on 500 million hydrogen in the Ulster territory right now because the prices are absurd. I won't sell. You can't break me.
You can't break me. Oh man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I guess the first noteworthy news for everyone. Donald Trump just posted tariffs.
Yeah.
For everyone
Yeah,
involved in the
I
markets or
mean-
in crypto.
Biggest chiller in the galaxy, right? He said, now's the perfect time to buy. A few hours later,
Dude, oh my god.
Bro, that's some crazy stuff.
That is crazy.
That's so
That is
crazy.
absolutely crazy.
He said, perfect time to buy. 3 hours later, no more tariffs.
send it.
Holy
What an
shit.
alpha caller. What an alpha
What an alpha
caller.
caller. The best in the world, I would say. Everybody says so.
The best.
Uh, oh man. But yeah, I wanted to also say congratulations to the newly elected council as well.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. We
Big
have a new council.
congratulations. Huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Signal,
Lot
Emperor,
of work.
Lancer.
Odie and Drum
Legends.
Carlos. Yep. Congratulations to the 5 of you.
What a setup.
Congratulations. I'm excited to see what everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they're already cooking some events and stuff like that. I think they will be hosting their meetings publicly as well. At least that's some rumor that I heard. So I guess you guys can expect news from the council for sure. This
I need you
Saturday,
guys-
Lancer says. Nice.
I need you guys to start working on a pit for council member salaries. That's what I need. I'm manipulating the voting market right now. Do it. Do it.
We will see. Green Whopper says no.
I say
I'm sorry,
yes,
bro.
bro.
I'm sorry, man. Green Whopper said no.
Yeah,
It's
cancel.
a divided opinion. That's for sure. Fun Netflix is special. Yeah, there are a couple pips that are moving, man. There are a couple pips that are moving, and we still need to transition fully to the new council, but it's going to be really interesting. The next couple months, 9 months we'll have with this council. So, congratulations again, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah. Lancer says, I'm going to need you to give us a Dow Council Amphitheater. You can use this one. You can use this one. But yeah, another noteworthy new is the Shaga campaign. You guys now, you can participate in the Shaga campaign. I don't know, when does it start exactly, Dom? Maybe you have more details than I do.
Yeah, so right now it's just about eligibility. So right now what you'll do is I just linked a Twitter article that they put out, and basically what it says is the campaign, you can have up to $100,000 in Star Atlas rewards, and the way you could do that is by submitting a gameplay clip anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds on X, where you show Shaga in action. You basically show that you are lending your computer for someone else to play on their mobile phone. And then you have to, there's some stipulations of what you need to do. You need to have like 500 followers, and then you need to tweet it a certain way. But you can qualify now, so you can start now, anytime you want now, and then it ends on the 14th. So you have until the 14th. If you want to be involved, I do recommend that you do get involved if you are a creator or you do have any followers or a friend who wants to try it out, because I think it's worth it just to get involved and get some rewards. So give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's cool.
Yep. Just posted the link to their Discord server so you guys can go join and participate and ask any questions that you have for the Shaga team. So feel free to join if you're interested in participating. I think it's going to be an interesting one. Yeah. Then another thing is an interview that was launched yesterday, I believe. I have the tab open. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it's one of the greatest interviews that were done in Star Atlas and with Michael Wagner.
Yeah. Yeah. Virtual did another interview with Michael Wagner. He did another one before, so that's why it says part 2. But this was over 2 hours long. These weren't easy questions, so go
It's
give it a watch.
broadcast then.
Yeah, for real. Go give it a watch. Go give it a watch if you're even remotely interested. It was really good. It was really, really good. I will
Nice.
stick to my guns and say Michael Wagner is one of the best interviewees of like all time. Genuinely of all time.
He's good with the
Best
mic.
interview.
Yes,
No way.
I agree. Yeah, and then another big new for you guys to participate in if you're interested is the Sage Holosim free-to-play testing. So if you're interested in helping make this product the best we can, the best Sage free-to-play of all time, you can join the testing and participate. Fill the form, and we'll be picking some winners probably by end of day today, early tomorrow, and you will be onboarded to a testing group. So we're looking forward to it. It's way different than the current Sage experience. I don't want to spoil anything, but we need you guys to think outside the box if you join there. Think not as a Sage user, but as someone who has never played Sage before, basically.
Man,
Yep.
Santi, I'll tease them a little bit and say it's super impactful. Like it's different. It's closer to the vision that we have for Star Atlas future, and I really had a very cool time testing it. And I would urge anyone that has the time to do this to apply and try to get in because it's super cool.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's lightning fast. It's super cool. It's awesome. Genuinely. If you're even remotely interested and you have the time to do it, give it a shot. Apply. Especially if you are of the mind of trying, like getting in the mind of a new player and seeing like how would a new player think in this situation. Is this easy to understand? Is this easy to grasp? So we need some analytical minds. We need some players who are going to go in there, actually give it a real test, and kind of look from a different point of view other than their own. So that's
Yeah.
you.
And
Definitely apply.
also, when we do this type of testing, it means that we have the team dedicated to making changes on what you are sharing with them. So they are super important, and they have the chance to literally impact how the product is going to be shaped when we launch it. So if you're interested in that, you need to have time also to play it. We need people who can be dedicated to play a couple hours per day and provide well articulated feedback so that the team can understand. If you feel like you meet those criteria, you can join, apply via the form, and join the testing. So yeah, John Carlos, that's what we all do every day. Yes, that's absolutely true. But this is more like closed, let's say. It's smaller, directly with the team, so it's free. It's not paid testing. No, we haven't paid testing. So yeah, it's out of passion, basically.
You're paid with love.
You're paid with our love. Marshall says, I get paid usually. Sai, then don't apply, Marshall. Do not apply if you're looking to get paid. Yeah. But yeah, I think that covers all the noteworthy news. I don't know if I missed anything, Dom, Jose, before we move.
I think you got it.
No. I think we're good. Let's get started.
Cool. So today, guys, as you see in the title, the main topic is we'll be talking about AI in Star Atlas. So AI in Star Atlas is a wide topic, but what is Star Atlas doing with AI? What is the Star Atlas vision long term when it comes to AI? Who is the guy working behind the AI in Star Atlas? Who is that mysterious guy that is here on stage with us? What does he even do? Then the partnership with Singularity, and then we're going to theorycraft a little bit as well about the future of AI and what the possibilities are. We also want you guys to share the ideas, and if at some point you have any ideas on, oh, this would be cool, let's see if can it be done, and we'll get Jim to say this is impossible, or maybe in the future it can. It can happen. But yeah, we basically want to theorycraft together with you guys and yeah, have some fun in this conversation. So, Jim, my friend, welcome to the stage.
Thank you
Welcome,
very
Jim.
much. Thank you very
Pleasure to have
much.
you here, friend.
How are you doing,
Pleasure to be
sir?
here. I am good. Just maybe a little bit nervous, but good. So
Ah, you're
yeah.
good. You're good. It's super
Yeah.
casual. I believe you also were on some town halls before, at least once.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Well,
I
there
remember
was
he was
some
at the
stuff
4 to
about
6 event. That's how OG he
yeah.
is, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's how OG he was.
Ooh.
Yes. I helped the team transition from when we were selling posters, the marketplace selling posters, to the actual marketplace we have today. I mean, yeah. So yes.
OG.
So
Matter
awesome,
of
man.
fact, so a little side story for all the people that are OG. Like, I when we were first working on the marketplace, the Solana dev cluster wasn't working, so I was actually working by posting my posters on the actual like real Solana mainnet, and I was posting them at such a price. I'm like, no one's ever gonna buy these, right? And then I accidentally forgot about it, left my computer, did the rest of the night, went to bed, came back the next day, and somebody had purchased all my posters.
Oh my
Wow.
So
gosh.
yeah, yeah. So that was way back in the day. Anyways,
In the
There
back in
was
the
some real
heyday, jeez.
promo. The
Yeah.
it
Rebirth
was
campaign. Who remembers? Who remembers Rebirth campaign? I bet some of the community members
Woo!
were here.
that was yep.
Anyone
Dude.
was around during that? Holy shit. Not only do you have battle tested, but war
Yeah.
tested. I don't even know.
Yeah. It was crazy. I remember the Armstrong poster. That was my favorite. It was a special campaign we did. That was really cool. The music as well. We still use that music in some of our events. It is
Super cool
really cool.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Magical times. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ronald is saying you were in Portugal for Breakpoint as well, Jim. I remember that. You were in Portugal for Breakpoint. That's true.
Was yeah, I was up on stage talking about something we were doing at the time. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So much going on. But yeah, Jim, I guess we can get started with some reintroduction, I'll say, to the community on your background, like your expertise, and just anything that you feel it's worth sharing with the audience.
Sure, yeah. So yeah, I've been developing software for 25 plus years. Actually maybe closer to 30 now. And yeah, I joined Star Atlas. Yeah, I mean, like I said, for we to really as part of the transition from the first original Rebirth kind of marketplace to the what was the name of that? Anyway, so the
Serum.
marketplace we originally used. Anyways, the
Serum.
original
I think it was
Serum,
Serum.
yeah, the Serum.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, to practice Serum. And then worked a lot, yeah, on kind of the core stuff up until really the last thing I was working on for Star Atlas was when that first big push of ChatGTP 3 came out. And I'd been working on the Sage 3D game with that team, and kind of transitioned over to kind of beginning to do research on how we could potentially use these large language models to make a more immersive world. And then, of course, with the FTX thing and the crypto crash, I ended up, um, you know, being let go from Star Atlas. And then I worked on a video game for Pudgy Penguins. I don't know if anybody got a chance to see Pudgy World. I worked on Pudgy World, and then there's a Crossy Roads thing called Pingu Dash that you could do from Pudgy World. And I know they sold plushies in Walmarts. So I was part of that, and then I was very fortunate to get in and work with another startup that where I built. Um, it's a personalized AI coaching app based on your personalities, so people can like enter personality stuff, Myers Briggs, enneagrams, love languages, all this different stuff, and then basically chat with your own personalized coach that knows stuff about you and is able to help you, through anxiety or through these other things. And that's where I really started getting deep into creating, conversational coaching and assistant kind of stuff, um, that are powered by LLMs. So
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. At the forefront of AI with some personal coaching. I would like to try that
Yeah.
out, honestly. It sounds
Yeah.
pretty interesting, right? Like
It
entering
does.
my
It really does.
personality and letting AI give me some coaching.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll take
exactly.
it.
Like, hey, I'm about to go through a bear crypto market. What can I do? Well, based on your extroverted personality, you should be talking about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No,
Get out there
it
and
is
talk.
interesting. Exactly. It is very interesting, and it's I don't know, it's interesting to see what it comes up with sometimes, and how it responds. So, yeah.
Yeah. No way, Jose, you're cooking me in the chat. Brad as well. Maybe with an AI life coach, I can grow up and get a real job. Oh my god.
That was the first thing it said to me when I said, "Well, should I go back to Star Atlas?" And it's like, "Nope, time for you to grow up and get a real job."
Oh man, that's crazy.
Just kidding.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, James, you were recently hired again by Star Atlas to work on our AI initiatives. You're basically leading everything AI related in Star Atlas. Is
Yep.
that?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it is. Yeah. Especially from a technical standpoint. And being able to do it. Advise kind of the bigger overall vision of Star Atlas, AI and Star Atlas. Excuse me. Correct. Yep.
Nice, nice. I think we can get on some of the specifics now, Jim, if you're down to it, like on
Sure.
the specific things that are happening right now behind the scenes in the Star Atlas team. Like, what are you cooking for Star Atlas when it comes to AI?
Yeah, so the big one is the unnamed AI assistant. Um, and so, one of the visions, Francesca and others have done just a tremendous amount, and the community team here of kind of what are the pain points to new players, what are the pain points for existing players, and how can we use AI to make the game more enjoyable, to make those experiences more enjoyable, right? And how do we grow, how do we grow the entire player base with AI? And so the first and foremost thing I've been working on is this AI assistant. Um, and I know people are like slamming us with questions. I can't read them. I'm sorry. Um,
We'll get to their questions.
yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah. Okay, cool. So that, for example, like right now, putting together the knowledge base, for those who are asking a little more technical questions, putting together this set of rags that are knowledge bases. The first one that we've been working on and internal testing is how to play Sage Labs. So you can basically ask it, how do I form a fleet? And it will give you a bullet point list. You should click on the central space station, and you'll go through each step, and helping to especially new players as they're coming aboard to understand how to play the game, right? What a little less lore focused. It does have some lore, so you can ask it, what are the factions? Why would I want to choose one of the factions? What are some of the ship manufacturers? What are some of the different types of ships? But this first knowledge base is really tuning it to understand how to play the game, so that when you're in the game, you can be able to chat to it to figure out how to do something, especially if you're new to the game. So
Which is huge. That's absolutely huge. That's a big thing that's missing is kind of onboarding and kind of understanding how to play, specifically Sage Labs. I would even say UE5 too. I get a lot of people who ask like, how do I spawn a ship, or how do I do this? How do I do that? Anyways, I'm just trying to say this is huge in that direction because I can make every tutorial in the world, right? Like, but people have to click on that. They have to want to have that tutorial. They have to watch the whole thing, and this is another arm on that kind of teaching players how to play the game body. Well, and this one's I would say a lot better because you have a specific question. You just ask the AI assistant and you say, hey, I have this problem, or I don't know how do I dock a fleet, or how do I undock a fleet, or how do I mine this resource, or whatever, like that's where the magic's gonna happen, especially for these new players, because we do need this better onboarding experience. So that's really awesome, Jim. Genuinely, really, really cool. Um,
Thank you.
I actually I have a bit of question. I see a lot of talk about AI and how it's going to affect game studios, for example, or just companies in general. How do you see it, like maybe like empowering our team at Star Atlas? Do you have any ideas there, or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, absolutely. Why am I trying to? Yeah, first and foremost, we needed to replace Brad for sure. That's just Magic Puncture. I'm just tired of him.
First step.
Um, first step. But there's a couple of different initiatives that I'm a part of internally, and one is I don't know. I'm going to get a little maybe technical or philosophical, or whatever the word is, but in the end, like a large language model can type at 1,000 words a second, right? I mean, they just type so fast, and so being able to utilize these agentic AI tools out there like Cursor and Windsurf and Claude Code and Aider and some of these tools to be able to produce software faster, right? And be able to produce more features and to be able to do kind of the vision of agile development in terms of being able to produce proof of concepts faster, get feedback faster, get those reducing the time it takes for that development loop um, is gonna hopefully, and we're already seeing places for example in the fleet rentals that Kane and Exco did a great job in, but the ability to for even a project manager on our team to use Cursor to put together a quick POC that then we can get to marketing, and then marketing be able to give feedback on that, and then being able to turn around and get that POC to the development team with the marketing update, and kind of having this kind of workable, clickable thing that the development team was able to then take. And we were able to get some features down and out into production, where previously that would have taken 3 or 4 days. We were able to get it done in half a day, right? So I mean, I don't want to overpromise anything in a sense, but that's one of the things that are happening internally in terms of using these tools. We've also got some stuff that we're putting together with Kelly, who's working on basically being able to review our code for potential security flaws, right? And to kind of act as a bad actor that would attempt to break into some of these smart contracts or manipulate the smart contract in order to try to steal assets, right? So we're in an interesting spot. Excuse me real quick. We're in an interesting spot that we're doing a lot of things in the blockchain that a lot of others aren't, and so it's tough sometimes for these security auditors to get in and to really be able to understand what we're doing versus what some others are doing. And so having that kind of tooling internally is really powerful.
Totally.
Super cool.
Great, man. I'm really excited to see, like, it doesn't just help the players, it helps the company as well. I see AI as a tool personally. I know a lot of people are scared about it, and then maybe a little side rant, but I see AI as a tool. You can't really replace a lot of what makes you a human being and what makes creativity and all that kind of stuff. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here, but uh, I think as a tool, it has the potential to make a lot of people's lives easier. So really cool stuff, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I know someone just posted in the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, and we were discussing this yesterday, like on how complex it is. Also, maybe not to get technical, but like so people understand like how it is to build a large language model from our side and to make an AI assistant make sense for Star Atlas. Like there's so much context that you need to give that language model, right? Like there's context on UE5, context on the lore in Sage, and every question that you ask that AI means a different thing depending on from where you're asking it, right? Like if you're asking a question about factions in Sage, it's completely different than in UE5, at least right now. So, and everything changed so quickly. So I'm guessing just for giving people some knowledge to how AI is being built in Star Atlas, like you're having to build a bunch of different ways for the large language model to get the context from, right? Like how does that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So, for example, like in testing, right, as internal testing, someone could say, "Can you tell me more about this game?" Right. Well, in the terms of Star Atlas, do they mean the bigger Star Atlas game? Do they mean the UE5? Do they mean Fleet Command? Do they mean Sage Labs? Like, what does game? What does that word game mean? Right, in that context, for example, right? And so yeah, so kind of the first thing that we've been working on internally is this classifier, and ultimately when the user asks or is engaging with the AI assistant, which shall remain unnamed, it's a little internal joke I'm going to hammer about for a minute, but so the unnamed AI assistant, the first pass it actually does is it tries to classify based on specific information. It tries to classify what the user's intent is. Are they, they're asking a question about a specific game, and part of this, for example, is again in the terms of like you're using Sage Labs and you're trying to figure out how to do something. When you're asking it, what the user wants is a concise answer. Like, here's the steps. You want to do this, here are the 4 steps to do that. And I don't want, as a user, I don't want a wall of text talking about all kinds of philosophical, Star Atlasy lore stuff. But if I ask it a question like, tell me more about the convergence lore. Like, that's someone like diving into our lore and probably wants more
Yeah.
of that interactive, engaging experience. And so there's this, and again, and because we are, if you will, multi-product, again, if someone's in the marketplace on the web and they're asking it a question, or someone's in Unreal and they're asking a question, it needs to kind of classify that in terms of what that greater context is. And be able to pull back the right information, because that's the other piece of it. There is a lot of information out there, and so when working with large language models, as maybe many of you, you only have so much context, and so we've also we're using that classifier to kind of really try to pull out and pull smart context, and then be able to provide that smart context, and make one of the things that I've always loved about Star Atlas is just how incredible the artwork is, right? And how basically like this delight I get from whenever I see, artists posting stuff in our Discord. It's like, this is amazing visuals. It's a delightful experience. I really want to get our AI system, our assistant, to be like that. It won't, we have a lot more information than just trying to use Chat GTP. So, you'll get more specific information, but I also, like I said, want it to be able to understand players' intent better than what Chat GTP or Claude will, and be able to give a better answer to really give you what you are looking for. So that's some of
Yeah,
the things that we've been working on.
and what Gene's talking is super cool, especially because it's all happens in game as well. Like the AI agent, from the lore point of view, it's actually an existence that exists within the Staratas universe. So I don't want to spoil too much, but today I think we have a sneak peek to talk about this actually,
We
right, Santi?
do.
Don?
We do. Let me bring it up. I'm actually pretty hyped about this.
Yeah.
All right, here's your sneak peek. I'm gonna screen share it for the people at home watching on YouTube or the VOD. Okay,
Shout out
this
to
is the
Star Atlas TV.
unnamed AI agent that we were talking about. This is some concept art. It is honestly, it's farther along than this concept art, but this is what we can
Yeah.
show you. This is what we can show you.
Yeah, that's what we were allowed to show today.
Yeah,
We
this is
beg.
But
we beg,
we
We
please,
beg.
begged for this.
please. This is what we
Other
got for you guys.
storage.
This is super sick, super sick. But
Yeah, and I think I can also talk a little bit about it from the lore point of view. She is like an entity in the Stratos universe. So Jim can bring more context on this, but you'll be engaging with her from the point of view as being part of your fleet or your crew and giving you information from the perspective of something that lives inside Galia Expanse. So I don't think we can talk much more about that, but it's super interesting. Yeah. We are designing some cool
Yeah.
stuff involving this unnamed AI assistant.
she can fix me. All right, everybody's already a
She
simp.
can fix me. Oh my
Yes,
god.
mother.
Mother, she
Oh
can
my
fix
god.
me. All right, everyone's going to simp jail.
Can I marry her? Oh my god. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
we knew this was coming. No,
Yeah, we
Jose
did.
predicted this.
Yep. I know my people.
Yeah. Yes, you do. But yeah, Jim, there are other cool things in the works as well. And one of the things was a partnership that was announced and that the committee had a lot of questions about. It's with SingularityNET, and I know you've been kind of leading the charge on it. And I don't know, we would like to hear some details about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, SingularityNet, and I believe that some of the conversations with SingularityNet were happening before I came back, but ultimately it's this like large consortium of different entities working in the AI space. So some of them are corporations, some of them are colleges and universities, some of them are like working groups, and they're all kind of working in the AI space. And there's kind of two different pieces in there. And the one piece is, and I'm going to just call them pieces because it's hard to know if it's a company that, and then the other ones are like a working group. It's anybody can look kind of at Singularity. It's this kind of big cloud of organizations. So there's these two organizations. One is working in basically getting rid of dialogue trees. So the idea is that you can interact with NPCs. I'm going to call them AICs because now they're AI driven characters instead of non-player characters. But the whole concept is being able to talk with it, and in underneath it has goals, it has a personality, it it has what it's trying to do. So yes, you could probably just have a big rambling generic conversation with you, but it's ultimately going to try to get you, like if it's a quest giver, it's ultimately going to try to give you this quest, right? Or or if it's an information share, but ultimately be able to have these natural conversations with NPCs that aren't just limited to dialogue trees, right? Um, so that's kind of the main, that's one of the main entities inside of the Singularity that we're working with to do just that. Um, yep, yep, realistic, goal driven, updated with information about the world. It has a memory of obvious previous conversations with you, if it has any, right? So it's basically this whole bringing these things more to life. And then the other piece that they have is a very novel a very novel way to do reinforced learning for actions in game for NPCs. And so the NPCs, instead of just standing around and giving quests or whatever, they could actually be, be driven towards their own individual goals, and they could be doing things. They could actually be out
Mm,
walking into the world and actually doing. Again, the way that it works is you basically give them some goals, and the goal isn't win game. The goal is you're a mechanic and you work in this shop, and your thing is to do this, right? Your main goal is this, and then they through reinforced learning, they figure out how to do it and how to interact with your world and how to interact with each other. Um, so that's the other kind of secondary piece that we're exploring. Can we get a jump start by using their tech inside of ours? So that's the main thing that we're doing with the Singularity partnership. It's exploration of that. So
That's very cool. Very cool. I love it.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's dream, if you ever play the game, of course, is to be able to interact further with the NPCs instead of just choosing 3 options from a dialogue tree. So even if that becomes a little bit more dynamic, as you said, Jim, even if it just ends up giving you the quest that it was going to give you anyways, but you interacted with it in a more meaningful way, I think it goes such a long way for the gameplay experience.
Yeah, or they
Yeah.
can decide to not give you the quest, right? Because you are a jerk, or something like this. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
this.
absolutely. Stop, you guys, we were joking around yesterday, like, yeah, you don't want to just like if you walk up to it and start like rambling about modern day US politics, how do we build it to respond to that? To be like, why are you talking about something that happened 800 years ago? Like, here's what I need someone to go do this, or I get out of my way, I gotta go fix a ship. Like having them, escalate through those levels of emotions and it just the unique experiences that people can get. And it ultimately turns every NPC into this mini replayable experience, right? So
So Jim, I wanna move on to maybe things that aren't immediately available, more dream, looking towards the future and theory crafting a little bit. If you could maybe, if you had a couple goals for AI and Star Atlas, what would a couple of those long-term goals look like for you?
yeah, it's a great question. I think one. I'm like trying to click through Discord here, see what people are asking questions. One of them, I think, and if this would be the near term one, and what I'm working on right now is how can the AI make the game experience just really awesome, and how can it take, and we'll get maybe to more to this, some of the potential monotony out of the game, um, and just be able to provide this cool experiences, from like I said, being stuck, not knowing how to do something in the game specifically, to, and I think a lot of people were posting about this. Again, to be a little bit technical here, we're very much building this AI assistant to be both a consumer and a server for what's called model context protocol. And model context protocol is kind of the next big protocol to allow AI systems to interact with each other, right? So like things we're being in discussion with the community, for example, there's the tool team, and they're really trying to take their Theo chatbot and really kind of create this incredible trading bot, basically this trading agent that can do, and people are asking like what's the most profitable this, or how can do that, and be able to interact with that. Well, if they build theirs as an MCP server, you could be inside of Sage Labs talking to the AI assistant, and you ask it a trading question, it could be able to interact with Tool, go get, Tool could come back and say, hey, here's a very profitable trade right now. So be able to do things like, you know, hey, I just saw this fleet come up on fleet rental. What could I do to make, could I be profitable with that fleet, right? And that it basically is able to analyze that information and say, yes, you could be profitable, and here's what you should do, and just be able to interact with it, this assistant, to just make the game super fun, right? And to enable these kind of more complex use cases, and faster. And by faster, maybe able to interact with them faster. So um, that's one thing. I know I could ramble for hours, but I want to like give people a chance to ask questions. So um,
Mhm.
and I don't
Yeah.
know how you guys do it. I cannot keep up with the Discord
With the
chat.
chat? Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
it's totally
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know how you guys have gotten
No,
so good at it. I can't. It's like so distracting. I'm sorry. So uh,
No,
I
totally
think
good, man. Totally good. Sorry, go for it, Santi.
so
we have Mandalorian wanting to ask a question. I don't know, Jim, if you're down to reply to a question.
yeah, please, sure.
Let's get him on stage. If you cannot reply to it, Jim, you feel free to say I cannot touch on this.
Yeah,
But
I'll don't worry. I'll literally ban him. If you
Yeah,
want.
if you can't reply to the question,
Bad
he's banned.
question.
Ban, yeah, instant. Hey, how you guys doing?
Good,
Doing
man. How
great.
you doing, bro?
Good, good.
Oh, fantastic. So quick question for you. I saw, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the old game with the Lord of the Rings games, how the NPCs they could build character and come back later in the story as like a rival kind of thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but like it was like they patented it, but it was a really cool mechanic. Yeah, the Nemesis. Yeah, thank you. The Nemesis system. It was a pretty cool system that they used that made it very dynamic when you were playing the game. And I was just wondering. I guess my curious question is that would you guys be able to do something with the AI to make them like built into the story that possibly they come back later and say it's someone that you fought before and they kind of dynamically shift and adapt to a different way of play style, like stuff like that, or even like build on the story of the way you've like written the story? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's ultimately my thoughts on it. So yes, like the cool thing about the generative AI, the AI that we've got, the machine learning based AI now, is that it's really just like this incredible prediction machine, right? It's this that's how it's predicting that, when I say the sky is, the most reasonable word is blue, and then cloudy, then sunny, right? Like it's got this incredible prediction algorithm. And so we can utilize AI to recreate that kind of experience, but potentially do it faster and do it with a lot more complexity, because now these large language models, instead of thinking about that kind of nemesis system, like if you think about how that would work, right, it would, like, you basically have to have these, this basically this tree, or this list of the steps that nemesis system was going to take, and it was all, a lot of if statements, right, in the code. Very technical there, a lot of if statements in the code, a lot of, right. But with AI now, instead, we can it can use natural language to be able to build on itself towards goals, right? And you kind of get this idea of like creating like a dungeon master, or like or an orchestrator, right? So like potentially, yeah, potentially we could create these layers of agentic AI systems that were uh, potentially driving the actual world and driving AI agents that are in the world to interact with users. And this is what I was kind of talking about, that whole singularity net and this reinforced learning. Like, how do you build a reinforced learning system so that an AI agent has goals, it has other AI agents that have goals that it can interact with, and how does it achieve that goal? Right? How does it get to that goal? Though that's all done through have to do that through reinforced learning, and getting all of the data from the game for it to do that reinforced learning, to learn how to do that, um, can be very, very expensive if you want to do it in kind of that traditional neural net training with millions of epochs of just pure random data. And that's really one of the things that we're excited about with SingularityNET is, they basically, their first test bed in building this reinforced learning was Minecraft, and they ended up building this thing where multiple Minecraft agents started playing Minecraft together and figured out how to build and figured out how to create all the things and have these goals. So the short answer to that is, yeah, that's exactly what we want to do, and we want to be able to bring what would have been, you know perhaps one of the most complex unreal blueprints ever, right, and instead move that to a large language model that can, instead of having to have every path hard coded, it can now have general goals, and it can make non-deterministic decisions within that goal, so that the gameplay is just, I mean, think about it'd be like Nemesis kind of, because if you think about a Nemesis, maybe something happened early, and when they come back, they would always come back kind of the same way because or maybe within a range. But now with large language models and the level of options you can give it, it could come back in a totally different way than the last time it came back, right? Because it's now doing these non-deterministic towards this goal. The possibilities are amazing and endless. And it's one of the reasons I kind of decided to shift from more game development and get into this whole AI world. Possibilities are unbelievable, really, truly crazy. Um, that was
Yeah,
a
thanks
long
for the.
rambling way. I'm sorry. So
No, I appreciate the insight. No, like you said, like it's so crazy to think about now that how advanced everything is getting, like you say, with the AI agents and what we can build with those. Because like a lot of the time, like a lot of the research that I've done and seeing with the agents is that like you say, the self-learning. So like first thing that comes to mind for me, especially being like a long time gamer, is that the cool dynamic interactions that you can have with the story characters and them have their own thought process and actually like say you're doing a main quest or something and you're in a ship and you're out deep space doing whatever, and then you get countered by this like AI agent that's like one of the main characters that's actually just learned some of your fighting style and it's coming to counter your mission. Like that to me is just absolutely mind-blowing. Like I can't even fathom that, and the fact that it's even real now with the technology getting stronger and stronger is amazing.
yeah, absolutely. And then the challenge for us from an AI development team is in the game, if we were talking about Halo Wars yesterday. I don't know if many people play Halo Wars, but there was like, basic, normal, and legendary, right? And so to your point, like you're doing something in deep space and now a pirate shows up, and now that pirate using the large language model is adapting its strategy as your strategy is happening. We as a programming team have to decide, well, okay, does everything get kind of super advanced god mode level intelligence and then you're unable to beat anything, or and so people were talking about crew, right? Like, so how do we start to tie AI into the crew, so maybe that crew that was piloting that pirate is a very low level and kind of dumb pirate team, and so they don't get that, they only adapt to a certain amount, and they against your strategy, and those are the kind of things that we don't get, they don't one shot out. You can't go to ChatGPT and one shot a prompt and get a system that built like that. We've got to build those systems and we've got to test those systems, and it is amazing. I mean, just real quick anecdote, I know we've got more, but even when I was building the assistant to help play Sage, one of the things I ended up doing is it actually ends up making like we were talking about, making this call beforehand to figure out like what is the player asking about. I mean, the kind of logic I would have had to written previously to do that, and now I can basically make it one call to an LLM and say, hey, analyze this conversation, give me the keywords, give me the key points, give me, if there's a question, what that question is. Now that's just one line of call and I get that back. It just, and now I know the actual intent of what you just posted, what you just said to it, so that I can go and actually answer that that wouldn't have been possible 2 years ago. I mean, it just did that tech didn't even exist,
Yeah,
so
that's crazy. Well, I appreciate the answers, and yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys will figure it out. If like it's a problem of them being too powerful, you could always just handicap them and give like players abilities to buffs and stuff like that, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not the one to really figure that out, but I'm excited for it anyway, regardless. And thanks for your answers. Appreciate it.
yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Mando.
Looking
Thank you
fresh,
for the
boys.
questions, friend.
Appreciate you, Mando.
Cool.
Bro said we look fresh, man. Now I'm blushing, man. Hold on. Hello.
I got all the Star Atlas gear on today. What you talking about?
Wow, look
So
at Jim.
I know,
He's
just
looking good,
complete
man.
He's
simping
ready.
for the company. So yeah,
We love Star Atlas. I
no, but
see
you would.
Signal with the hand raised. Oh, did I interrupt you, Jim? Sorry.
No, you go ahead, man. I was just going to say some of the other ideas we had talked about with AI, but I just saw Funcracker talking about there. So
It kind of segues from the question that Mandalorian had a little bit about what we were talking about yesterday, Jim, which is like how can AI help populate worlds and make them more interactive and give you more stuff to do when you get to a world. I think we can get into that, and then we get into the questions from people.
sure, yeah. So I was gonna say, I mean, I think one of the things that I think would be a very interesting and novel experience for AI, like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of the talk about is how do you make, non-player characters more engaging? But I was also thinking, how do you make the general world more engaging? And what about, and I talk about that AI orchestrator. What if the AI orchestrator was managing herds of deer in a planet, or flights of birds, or like, just being able to create these kind of all right, I gotta close this chat. I'm sorry. That's um sorry. So you get into these experiences, and you fly in your ship, you might actually see like, some form of like elephant like creature, walking through the thing, or dinosaur like creatures, and being able to use AI to give those more realistic experience. Is it a predator type? Is it going to be aggressive towards someone? Is it going to, are they a herd animal? They're going to move in herds. Like, how do we use AI just to create a more immersive experience in terms of managing nature? I actually think that would be incredibly cool and could create some really incredible experiences, right? And as we kind of tied back to, AI internally, utilizing AI to say, okay, here's a planet type, here's the ecosystems, what type of animals would be there, and how do what could we base that off of, make a modification of. And so, and using, again, because that prediction and that randomness that can be done there, to potentially create, whole world building, um procedural world building systems to create these worlds that are just more engaging. Because again, I think it would just be super cool. People fly in the mountains and they find some, rare animal out there, right? That would be just a really cool experience that but I don't know if anybody's really done out there. So
Yeah. Yeah, Virtual is saying in the chat, we need AI weather patterns. That would be pretty cool as well.
yeah,
Weather
absolutely.
patterns linked with
So
different plants or animals that just spawn in certain conditions that have certain habits. Yeah.
yeah, that would be super cool. And then, the other thing, and again, that was a little bit more off the wall, but the other thing too that I was, that I would working for to bring AI into our games, and we talked about this one's a little bit more abstract too, is that, you know economy is ultimately limited by time, right? Like, I'm going to get real kind of philosophical here, but economy is limited by time. So you own a business, you hire people to get their time and to utilize their time and their resources. And games are about making choices. How many fun choices can I make? And so in our world, I kind of see those two things as a lot of competition, because if we create a world where production is very quick and fast, you get hyperinflation, right? um and we don't want that, having, kind of a real economy behind things. But then also we want to be able to make choices to keep the game fun, and what's that rate of choices. And so, what it dawned on me when I was watching one of our demos, where the ship's in the hangar, you go and you have to, like, get up, walk to the ship, and walk, and then sit down in the seat. And there was a part of me that was like, how cool would it be if you could just say to the AI, like, go sit in the ship, and then your player just walks and goes and sits in his ship. And while it's doing that, while it's taking that 2 minutes to do that, you could be like planning your route, right? And then you go, okay, fly to this spot here, and then the ship takes off and it starts flying there. Well, and the AI is actually flying the ship for you. And while the AI is flying the ship, you could be, all right, I want to go do a quick death match, and so your avatar then is now playing a first person shooter and then down in the corner you got the PvP, or the little PnP window. You can see your ship actually flying, and you're able to take kind of the monotony. I don't know, however you guys played EverQuest way back in the day, or World of Warcraft, right? Like when you have to go somewhere, the monotony of just walking there, just holding the arrow key down and walking there becomes really boring, right? But the problem is if you just create warp gates, then all of a sudden, I can just warp gate and I can just produce the resources. So you got, again, this kind of battle, and maybe I'm rambling a bit, but you got kind of this battle between time and choices. And the AI is doing kind of the monotonous flying while you're able to do something fun in the game that doesn't really have economic value, while the AI is doing some of that monotonous piece. And I think that could make the game overall just a more fun and engaging experience, while keeping an economy that doesn't just super hyperinflate. So that's the other really cool thing I think about potentially AI doing in kind of a novel way to make the game more fun.
Yeah, that is kind of like the way in which Sage gets connected to UE5 gameplay, like you play a shooter match while the AI drives you to wherever you're going to mine a resource, for example. And you kill the time like that. When you're sub-warping, it takes a long time. So when it's sub-warping for like 1 hour, you play just a couple games on the shooter game mode, right? So I think very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, another option, like people were saying, like, as you're managing fleets, I think it would be super cool that, as we kind of talked about with like how to integrate an AI intelligence into a crew card. Like I think, and these are all speculation, right? Don't say anything I've done here. I'm not speaking, not the mouth of Wagner on this. Like this is all just speculation, right? I think it would be really cool that as as your crew card, your crew literally flies a ship for you. That how smart or effective that ship is based on the intelligence of the captain and based on the intelligence of all the different players in there, and then actually having that all tied together to an actual AI agent that was running that fleet for you. And you could upgrade them and train them and use, what I mean, and they get, they basically get to smarter levels of intelligence. Then there's even more value to that crew, not just stat buffs, right? Not just increasing stat buffs, but like actually really knowing better
Learning.
ways to mine and getting better efficient routes. I think it could just create a whole bunch of really cool novel experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see Signal with the hand raised for a while, so we'll take his question and probably close after. So let's get him on stage.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on,
Welcome,
brother?
Signal, and congratulations for the council elections.
Thank you so much, my friend. None of you took my advice. I told you not to vote for me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me up here. I guess I just wanted to ask one question relative to all of these different conversations, because I'm sure you get it, like working in AI. You just say, hey, I work in AI, and everyone's going to just throw 1,001 crazy freaking dream out in the clouds and oh, you work in AI, so you should be able to do this, and we're going to do that. And you're going to auto-generate planets, and then I'm going to get married to a girl in a video game, and then this is going to happen, and then I'm going to be talking to a bot, and then this is but like you're one man and you're trying to manage a scope, and like the constant conversation and like Star Atlas lately is like if Chipto or someone else is talking, it's like, how do we just we define our scope, we control it, we deliver it, we handle these steps. How do you manage to simultaneously balance the impulse, the urge, the drive from others outside of you to try to hit and touch 1,001 little things, and actually go like, yeah, well, that's all great, and that all could potentially be done, but like I'm one guy trying to get things done. How do you manage to avoid scope creep in such a dreamy, cloudy, up in the air area like AI and gaming?
Yes. That is the $1 trillion question, actually. So the main thing is, fortunately, having done trying to take and build a chat assistant out that builds on top of an LLM, and not just functionally the LLM itself. I have some experience, and I'm able to kind of set some realistic expectations. um uh, and the other part of that too, yeah, it's just kind of having to be blunt about what is actually really possible, right? And the other piece of that is, not like you're saying, like everybody's like, oh my gosh, AGI, it's all gonna, I'm gonna one shot the next flight simulator and it's gonna be awesome, right? Like so
Exactly.
there's like yeah, and that's the weird thing. It's like there's so much kind of dream language and kind of VC chasing language in AI, right? And then the other thing that's really interesting about AI is it seems to be such a polarizing thing. Like some people seem to be like, oh, it's all garbage and it hallucinates everything and it's all wrong, and like and then the other thing is it's like, oh, it's going to replace everyone's job. It's the best thing since sliced bread. So it's that you've got all of this, and helping to really paint a clear picture, and be able to really talk about my experience, and some of the things some of the pitfalls, and then I also try to reframe the conversation a lot around, there's too much hype in this industry right now. There's too much hopium, um, but at the same time, if it created 1,000-word document and 2 sentences were hallucinations and the rest of that 1,000-word document was right, it's a powerful tool. You can't just let it do its thing. You have to reread that and say, oh, nope, this sentence was actually wrong, and change that. But it wrote the rest of the fight paper for me. That was great based on my directions. So, um, and the other thing too that I am trying to do is limit the scope of things right now. We're very much in the phase of working with an LLMs. And this is one of the arguments I have with people who really don't like LLM for programming. The there's this The LLM has to have the right context of what's going on, and so it have to get it the right context. And then there's also this art where if it's too much context, it may start to put the wrong weight on certain part of the context, so then it starts to answer your question inaccurately because you gave it too much context. So it's kind of finding this balance of finding the right level of context, and that's what we've been highly focused on right now. I don't when you ask it how to form fleets, I don't want it to give me some rambling thing about the different types of fleets that you can make. I want it to ask your specific question: how do I form fleets, right? And so a lot of this work has been about kind of creating this kind of rules engine to make it smart and effective. I don't know if that necessarily answer your question, other than I tend to find myself to be a little bit realistic and being able to push back a little bit and to say, here's what we really can do in this time frame.
Yeah, no, it's
And
great. And it sounds like right now, the focus is how do you just make the best virtual best friend you could have for figuring out Star, Atlas, and Sage. And I just know as someone that just hearing developer AI, like I can't imagine how many people just pull on your shirt every day and be like, here's what we need to be doing, Jim. And like you could do this, right? Because AI. And
right.
I was just intrigued in, how you manage that and resist that natural urge and temptation and pull. But yeah, thank you so much, brother, and thank you for your time, and thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you,
Problem.
Signal.
Pleasure, friend.
Great questions.
Appreciate you, brother.
Cool. All right, so we are well over the hour, so we will be closing. But thank you so much, Jim, for joining today. Really enjoyed the conversation. I know there was a lot of questions from the community about AI and what direction we're taking. So hopefully this helps clarify and people get a vision. We also got a little sneak peek that people seem to be already loving. But anything, Jim, from your end before we close?
I don't know if Firecracker's still here, but thank you. As one of the community members I know pretty well. So, thank you for having me. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
It was our pleasure, friend.
Yeah, appreciate you
our
coming on.
pleasure. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next week at the brew as always. Same time,
As always.
except for Europeans who just had the daylight saving. My God, I hate that thing. But
Fuck daylight
yeah.
savings. I'm just gonna say it. Fuck that.
Yes.
God, I hate it. All
But
right.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
everyone. See you
everyone.
soon.
Thank you.
See ya, buddy.